them coming in this. I was at the conference just before the 2015 Westminster election.
Aye.
And Glenn Campbell, the BBC had a little stage about 8 inches high set up, and Glenn Campbell stood there with the camera and all the rest of it, right? And well, I'm stood in front of a crowd of people, and I says, "Geez, a song, Glenn Campbell. I'm a lineman for the county, or I'm a rhinestone cowboy." I don't know the look he gave me. Oh my goodness me!
Right, that's his own. We'll give you a couple of minutes to go on.
That's the year I was sat behind Chris Law before he came out an MP.
Right.
And I tugged his blooming ponytail.
You'd have been chuffed at that.
And he turned around and I said, "What are you looking at, you bastard?"
Yeah. Big Chris would have loved that. He's a banjo man.
No, he didn't.
He must have been already in the running to get elected then. Anyway, welcome aboard, folks. We're going to start the programme by wishing Susan Gourley well. She's in the University Hospital there, where she's recovering from an operation. And hi to her husband Tommy as well. All right. So get well soon, Susan.
And obviously to anybody else, because there are other people that are going through procedures in the NHS, and they are maybe friends of ours that aren't on here. If any of you are, then fine. We wish you all the very best.
Right. So that's that bit. All right, David. I think first up we're going to talk about Mr. Salmon appearing on Gammon TV, GB News.
No, he was on GB News, but he was also on the Talk TV. You know that, yeah. Aye. Yeah.
No, I only knew it was slot on GB News. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this one up is that it's nothing to do with the Alpha Party. It's got to do with the man himself and the bad media decisions that he's made. Well, some of it's been forced because, of course, after the controversy, the MSM loped him out. So gets himself a production company, sells it to Russia Today. Not a great move. Opened himself up to all sorts of criticism. And then, all of a sudden, he's appearing on right-wing unionist propaganda TV, bashing the SNP for 3 hours. Now, I wonder what made that TV station make Mr. Salmon that offer. Shall we have a wee look at what might have made that TV station make Mr. Gammon that offer, shall we? Here we go then. All right. Let's get to the bit that's important here. Oh, I think I might have passed it. Read more. Whom's the use of to give a sense-setter statement? No, that's not it. I'm on the right article here. Aye, poll. New poll gives SNP bows after Whom's the use of elected leader. Right. Now, this poll was carried out for GB News, a right-wing propaganda unionist television, Gammon television station, suggests the SNP could take 48% of the vote in the Westminster election. Now, this poll came out 3 days before Mr. Salmon was appeared on GB News to bash the SNP for 3 hours. It looks like Mr. Salmon has been used as a patsy. So the TV company that finds that the SNP are only 3% away from a majority at a Westminster election invites on Mr. Salmon to bash the SNP.
Now, can I just add in a wee bit there, because I know the next one we're going on to, right? Now, to any of you that have been listening to this thing about a plebiscite election, where the unionists are all saying, by and large, oh, you need to get 50% of the Scottish voters to vote to make it relevant. Well, that's in order to remove Scotland from a union, right? Well, let me remind you that in 2019, Boris Johnson asked everybody to support him and get Brexit done to remove the UK from the European Union. And he did it on 44%. So we'll have none of that nonsense. All right, David, now carry on.
Thanks, Roddy. That's very generous of you. That really is. Now, you see, I mean, Mr. Salmon's repeatedly made bad media decisions, and this is a bad one. But you can see GB News' motive. Mr. Salmon's just been used. That right-wing fascist Gammon television station, or the right-wing, Gammon television station, Unionist Gammon television station, polled the Scottish people, and they got a shock, 48%, and we're not even running into the election yet. Every chance that they could take 50+% in that Westminster election. Next thing, Mr. Salmon's on the right-wing media, Unionist media station, bashing the SNP. Now, the bashing the SNP bit's not the bit that worries me. His particular party, and I don't want to get into it with his particular party, most of their activists are left the centre. In fact, all the ones I know are left the centre. Well, some of them are far left, actually. It's not a right-wing party, it's a left-wing party. So I wonder how their activists feel today, the party members feel today, about their leader going on to a right-wing Unionist Gammon propaganda station.
Yeah, well...
basically doing the Unionist job for them.
Yeah.
And that very station had polled the Scottish people and found that 48% are likely to vote for the SNP. It must have terrified the Unionist mob.
Well, we saw, we've seen so many articles written for the Telegraph or whatever, right? And under the guise of maybe Kenny McCaskill or whoever for Alba, and that's bad enough. But to be used in this way or promoted in this way by an ultra right wing channel, right, is, to me, Mr. Salmon isn't an elected official. Let's talk about an elected official. Let's imagine for a moment that Stephen Flynn, the hitman, decided to stand up and cross the floor and go and sit on the Tory benches. That is what it's akin to. And in that, I would say that every SNP supporter would have been thrown under a bus in that one single action. I say exactly the same to those people within the Alba Party. You have been thrown under a bus.
It looks like it because, let's face it, I mean, they're our friends. I know we criticised their campaign methods and things like that, but they were friends. Yeah. Now, I wonder how horrified our friends are at what Mr. Salmon just did.
You and I are both friends with Tam, right? And I wouldn't have anything done to Tam. I'd take my shirt off for Tam any time. Give it to him, right? He's way out, but good luck to him. That's his choice, right? So we're not against the Alba Party. We're against somebody that's thrown our pals under a fucking bus. Simple as that.
But listen, I know you're angry about it, but I'm more horrified at it, David.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Salmon keeps making, and I don't want to. This is nothing to do with the party itself. Mr. Salmon personally keeps making bad media decisions. Now, he might well have been forced into it because the mainstream media had cut him out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was a dreadful decision to go on to a GB News, a right-wing Gammon Unionist propaganda outlet, and slate the SNP for 3 years. I wonder if Mr. Salmon was aware that they'd polled the public in Scotland and found that 48% of them were likely to vote SNP. I think Mr. Salmon's been used as a patsy here. You know, but I mean, there's a point there with Lorraine saying ego. He is struggling to stay relevant. He isn't relevant anymore. You know, he isn't relevant anymore. In fact, give it a few months and Nicola Sturgeon won't be relevant either.
Yeah.
Unless she takes up a position to lead the Yes movement or something like that, she won't be that relevant either. Which brings us to the silliness about Nicola Sturgeon and all.
Yeah.
The way they're attempting to smear her private life in the media. So she takes to the BBC yesterday and tells them to behave themselves. But it was a factor in her stone and down. All this speculation about her having a lesbian lover, a French diplomat or something like that. And Nicola's on with Glenn Campbell giving it, aye, right, my life's not that glamorous, you know. But this sort of stupidity is one of the reasons why I stepped back. So social media is a bit out of hand. And I thought it was absolutely. I mean, this stuff would be. We knew it'd be batting about the internet and everybody ignored it. But the papers picked up with the other day there and ran with it. Just needing a smear story against poor people.
I thought that Glenn Campbell was taking the piss a bit when he said, Miss Sturgeon, can you just say ooh la la for us, please?
Yeah. Thanks very much, Scottish Independence 2023. And Roddy for that 20. That's marvellous, guys. But, you know, it just shows you, you know, I mean, they didn't have to do that. You know, they want to put a bit of doubt in people's minds about her character, especially as she could be a danger if she decides to take to the international stage to promote Scottish independence. Because they can't send a diplomat with her anymore.
Yeah.
You know, she's not a minister. So out she goes, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
You know. But I think that, to be honest, you and I think she both wants to be left alone. TV and Alexander's a stooge. You're right, he is a stooge. But I mean, that's how hard the man's trying to stay relevant. And kudos to the man for waking the nation up. But at the same time, Alec, behave yourself. Jesus, you must have everybody in your own party horrified at this nonsense. Yeah. Just a stooge for the right wing media.
Yeah.
Wow. Talk about desperate. Get a grip, Alec.
He did have a lot of guests on with him during the time. He had Angus Bryn McNeil on with him, right? And he tried to set Angus up a few times, and Angus would have none of it. But at the end, Angus did give in to the fact of the jibe against Ian Blackford. You know, what the hey.
And even that was childish. You can see Alec was being snide.
Yes.
You know, it was childish. You know, you're a real crofter. Because Ian's got a few million quid in the bank, he's no. Yeah. Hey, must want us all to forget that Alec was a very successful oil economist.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alistair. Thanks very much. You're all being very generous today. Thank you. But hey, as I say, I mean, imagine having a pop at Ian because he used to be a banker. Alec, newsflash, you used to be a banker. You were paid 3.3 million quid a year. Royal Bank of Scotland. Top oil economist, Alec. What people have to keep in mind, though, Alec's a traditional Tory.
Yes, this is true.
So the right wing unionist press might just suit him.
He was a card-carrying Tory at the time.
Yes. Oh, he was a good friend with Annabelle Goldie. But saying that, so was my father. My father was a Labour man, you know. Annabelle was a nice woman.
Be honest with you, I liked Annabelle. I did.
Aye.
You know, she was a Tory.
Right, but let's move on because there's other things that really need to be discussed. We're back to the carry on at Dover. This is going to happen every holiday season. And seeing we've got 3 or 4 of them a year. The problems at Dover are absolutely mental. Did you see Cruella Beaverman or whatever her name is, Breverman, sorry, on Sky try to deny it again today with Brexit? The wee presenter Sophie Ridley is at St.
Accused of Dover have nothing to do with Brexit.
But then the presenter takes a piss out of her by saying, but every passport's now going to be checked. How can it not be to do with Brexit? And what's causing the tailbacks to be longer than the usual 5-6 kilometres? Coaches full of people heading off in their Easter holidays. That's 58 passports per coach needing to be checked.
And the passport system is using facial recognition, right? Now, I know for a fact when I put my thumb on my phone, it doesn't work every time. right? That technology, you have to understand, guys, it's still in its early stages. It's not perfect, right? Facial recognition is still a bit, whatever. And if your skin color is much darker than mine, the facial recognition, you'll know with I know dealing with closed circuit TV, it has a great difficulty with the darker skin tones. Yeah.
I don't know
So,
that.
so therefore, going through Dover is going to be wow.
But what's even funnier than this is we all kept talking about Brexit being kicked in the line, As you know, they haven't been checking goods coming in. And when they did check goods, out of the 22 lorries, 20 of them had to be pounded because the foodstuffs on the back weren't fit for human consumption. Wonder what's on your supermarket shelves, folks.
Yep.
Anyway, but as of December this year, those checks have to be in place.
Yeah.
December this year. December 23rd this year, the day before Christmas Eve, those checks come into place, which means getting food into the UK has just become a hell of a lot harder.
Yeah, but also I'll say to people that was on here, when you go to the supermarket and if something's inside a package, don't just put it in the trolley. Look at it.
Aye, and I seen
it may have taken several weeks to just get to that shelf.
Aye.
And it may well be that underneath it's rotten. So do have a look.
But
all right.
Veterinary check, so it could be marked as beef and it's horse.
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Oh, it could be marked as chicken and it's cat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, nuts. This is this stuff that Mogg said would be nuts to introduce because it cost £1 billion a year. Well, guess what? Legally, they're required to introduce it at the end of this year. Otherwise, there's problems coming from everywhere. The World Trade Organization, the EU, everybody will be bailing in this one. Everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, half of us will be dead because of the crap that's coming through without the checks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I also seen Suella Braverman used a loophole in the rules to swindle us all out of 25 grand when it comes to expenses. That one was in yesterday's papers, I believe.
Go on, tell us. What's she doing? Tell us. I never saw that. Can you tell us what you're talking about?
I don't know what a loophole was. I just read the headline. I moved on. It's Tories. Tory stealing. Tory and corruption. There's no using that for any of us anymore.
No, exactly.
The barefaced line to the public-owned television's a different matter. That needs to be discussed. No. But stealing for the public purse, a Tory. Where's the news flash? That is a criminal cabal. Right, let's move on to Northern Ireland. Jesus, what a bloody mess that is.
David, hang on. What is the options of the possibility of a lib-lab Holyrood? Zero, Chris. There you go. That's my answer.
We'll get to Dumb and Dumber putting the better together pack back together shortly, will we? But there's other stuff here. I mean, let's face it, Northern Ireland's going up in flames. The MI5 and the National Security Agency ups the risk to severe last week. Sectarian violence at the weekend in Belfast. Ex-First Minister David Turnbull says the DUP face split if they don't return to Stormont and power sharing. And Jeff
Is this not what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, David?
Aye.
Is this not what we were actually telling folk about a couple of weeks ago?
What was that?
With the Windsor Agreement being
Windsor Protocol, aye.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Geoffrey Donaldson had the report. He set up a commission of 8 people, including David Trimble, the ex-First Minister and that. And they set up a commission to look at the Windsor Protocol. They got the report, so he says they'll consider the report carefully. Yeah. But we already know that the hardline nut jobs, they're not having it. Like, for example, Stuart Booker, Northern Irish Orangeman, he says he's not having this Windsor Protocol because it is undermining his Britishness. While, in the meantime, We've got unionist business owners. I read about a haulage owner there who was giving it, no, the NI protocol works for still British. Calm it, let's get on. This is good for business.
No. Do you want to know something? That's the way it should be for the majority of the people in Northern Ireland. Is, hey guys, we've got a good deal here. Scotland hasn't got this deal. England doesn't have this deal. Wales doesn't have this deal. Let's get on. Let's make hay. Let's go for it, right? When in actual fact, you've got nut jobs like those in the DUP that are the future's orange, the great future's orange, and it's like all they want to do is undermine the people of Northern Ireland, which is ridiculous.
Let's take the madness of Northern Ireland. Meanwhile, while that's all going on, you've got a cross-community group of people travelling around Northern Ireland right now to celebrate 25 years of peace. You know, the kids out there don't give a damn about what the sectarian thing of the past.
Yep.
They just want to get a job, get on with life without having to leave Northern Ireland. And this agreement that they have with the EU and access to both markets, that gives the kids that opportunity.
Well, it gives the kids the opportunity we had until we numpkins down the road blooming voted us out of the EU.
Aye. Absolutely nuts. And then it comes to light, of course, the Rwanda visa. We're not sending just refugees there. In return, we've got to take Rwandans.
If any of you have ever seen it, there's a movie called Hotel Rwanda. I do honestly recommend that you take time out to see it. I think it's still available on Netflix. I'm not sure. I would also try YouTube, see if it's on there. But it's quite an eye-opener. It's a factual story about life during the uprisings in Rwanda, and they're still there. It's still happening.
Beaverman was presented with proof over the weekend that refugees had been shot in Rwanda in 2018. But she still says it's the same place. Yeah. I want to move on to more BBC chicanery and shenanigans, right? The BBC at this point in time have a report on their website that tells us that the 16 to 35-year-olds in Scotland are not interested in independence, no the highest thing in their priority list. Apparently they want Humza Yousaf to concentrate on cutting the cost of living. Now, how did they manage to get people, young people here in Scotland, stupid enough to believe that Humza Yousaf can do anything about the cost of living when the economy is reserved? We only have one economic lever. You know, so this is a made-up, contrived thing. Because the latest poll has been considered an outlier. And in the latest poll, this is a YouGov poll, of course, 68% of 16 to 35-year-olds want Indy. It's the first one to be below 70%.
Yeah, yet again, Mr. Zahawi does it again. YouGov is owned by Zahawi, who was the Chancellor of the Exchequer that effectively got his balls rattled over his fraud, and where he had to do a deal with HMRC over 21 million he was due to pay on his tax affairs, and in fact did not, ended up getting away with it, right? Well, Mr. Zahawi is the owner of YouGov.
Technically it's his parents, but that's
yeah, it doesn't matter though, he's still under his influence at the end.
Very true. We'll be under his influence. Now, also, I mean, the Daily Mail and the Daily Express have gone mental. I guess they must have read GB News' poll and all. You know, apparently a routine operation here takes 7 years to get. What? Newsflash. Anybody waiting 7 years for an operation?
No. Not far out. Might be. Maybe the odd one. I don't know.
I don't know either, but we just talked about Susan Gourlin and University Hospital Ware. I bet you 5 or 6 not waiting 7 years for her operation.
There are long waits, but not 7 years.
And the Daily Express is back to scaring pensioners. Wow. They're saying that Humza Yusuf has no interest in pensioners. This is all about his statement that his generation's going to win independence sort of thing, But the real reason behind it is he's moved he's done away with the minister for pensioners or older people. Because let's face it, if you need a minister for them, you're discriminating against them. Where's the minister for the young people? Where do you used to go? Minister for 25 to 30-year-olds, 30. You just say, look, put it on the equalities basket.
Tell you what, I'll be the minister for our 60-year-olds. How's about that, right? Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at them all through their TV screens and go, if you don't vote yes, that's it. We're getting the guillotine out. We're going to borrow it from Paris.
But you don't need ministers for any of these different sections of society. You just need an equalities minister. Somebody to adjudicate on whether they're being treated fair or not. Wow. Hey, I have 2 cataract operations in less than 6 months. Well done. No. Yeah. So
Robert, this is what the wife buys at the weekend, so I've got no say over it, right? Seriously, I'm living with a fascist. I tell her I want Iron Brew, but no. He was saying no Iron Brew, Mr. Milligan.
And Roger says in 2020 during the lockdown was diagnosed with renal cancer. There was no elective surgery, only emergency. As soon as it was opened, he was operated on July 2020.
Very good.
That would have been within the 28 weeks as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's wow. You lucky. You're very, very lucky.
But as I say, I mean, the right-wing press are in absolute overdrive. That brings us back to Mr. Salmond, actually. He had the SNPs in a mess or something like that on the ticker tape, didn't he?
No,
SNP are holding Indy back, wasn't it?
That's right. No, but you've got to look at it from the point of view of he had phone calls coming in with some guy going, I've got an idea, Mr. Salmon. How's about we ask all the SNPers to vote SNP 1 and Alba 2? Where have we heard that before? And Alex Salmon said, yes, that's a very good idea. Exactly.
Also, what do I call it? What was that again? The appointment of a minister for independence isn't half got it up them if they know. They're not going to have to keep that Jamie Hepburn's been made a minister for independence. It was about time there was a minister for independence, to be honest.
Well, I'm just glad we have a hitman that works for the party now, right? When he's putting his silencer on his 9mm Beretta as he's talking to them, right now
you've got a video taken down for threatening violence. That's enough of that nonsense. Remember, we're doing a live show here. Take your fantasies elsewhere. The realpolitik, if you don't mind.
No, seriously,
and have you seen the headline today? Apparently, Hoddit and Dodder are putting the band back together as well. Hey, depending on what rag you read today, the National, Dross and Sarwar to get electoral pack for tactical voting at Westminster election. I guess everybody's shaking by this poll. It's over 48%.
I absolutely love that. I love that turn of phrase, Hoddit and Dodder.
The unionists are putting a band that never split up back together. Yeah. And the media is in a high propaganda overdrive, telling us all how shite we are.
Yeah.
It's wonderful stuff. It makes absolutely stimulating reading and watching. So it appears that a unionist TV station shaking the planet. They've shaken the establishment at this point in time with their silly wee poll. The report in the National must have frightened the crap out of them. Mental. Aye.
The most important thing to remember at YouGov, the polling organisation, is the fact that out of all of the polling organisations, YouGov is special in that they do not release any of the raw data. And that's why Professor What's-His-Face, the septologist, is always on their back, right?
Well, that is not correct anyway. It's always manipulated in a way that's not correct, that's for sure. But aye, so depending on what rag you read this morning, it's quite funny. And I don't do a newspaper review anymore, but I still look at the newspapers in the morning and see the stupid headlines on the sub-stories that go behind them. I remember, folks, the headlines are never what's in the actual article. You've got to go where you want it. If something really grabs my attention, I'll just read the bloody article, you know. I tend to speed read most of them, you know. But, hey, Labour not back Tory approach for a electoral pact. Aye, so they have heard that, you know, and nobody knew. They were talking about this in the full Scottish on a broadcast in Scotland on a Sunday. It's no new. I mean, they go together in Aberdeenshire to get rid of Mr. Salmon, you know. You know, Labour lent their vote to the Tories. But what they're suggesting is that Tories lend their vote to Labour in the central belt, and that Labour lend the Tories their vote in the rural areas, and they hope to lock the SNPU. But as I say, Gammon News and Unionist Press, their own polling tells them that's not going to work anyway. You know, in that poll, it tells you that the Labour Party in Scotland's sitting at 20%, which is no real gain. In fact, it might even be a 4% loss since the last one. And the Tories are sitting at 14%. The Lib Dems at 9%. The Greens don't put candidates up.
Yeah.
You know, don't know how much money Alpha have to put candidates up at a Westminster election. I really don't.
I would imagine that they would have to, on the next election, the next major election, they would have to put some candidates up. Otherwise, they've lost any form of kudos.
I mean, that brings us back to Angus Brendan McNeely and Rishi Sunak. Let's have a giggle about it. Hey, so you're telling us what we could put in our manifesto now,
yeah, Angus has got a great sense of humour, but when he does decide to get a bit forensic, like he did with Rishi Sunak on that inquiry for, my goodness me, he's great. He's really, really good at it. He leads them. He leads them a place that they want to go, and then all of a sudden they find themselves down at a blind alley, and that's when Angus asks them the $1 million question is, oh, so you want to actually tell us what we can put in our mandate?
Aye,
that sounds
manifesto, aye.
Yeah.
Madam Director, so how are you, Madam Director? Knackered. So shift.
Don't say that.
Sorry,
don't say that to her. Sorry, Sarah.
That's okay, David. Love you too.
Love you too, darling.
Wait, I gotta get up. We're broadcasting. Wow. Anyway, where were we? Sunak wanted to tell us what we can and can't put in an election manifesto. Absolutely brilliant. Been absolutely some madness and all over the last wee while. The press has been absolutely outrageous. It makes me really want to think about doing just maybe even a paper review each day, you know, to laugh at it. You know, it really is.
Just out of interest, while you're in front of your computer, then what's the thing on the Star today? What's the main headline of the Star? Let's have a look.
Hey, let's have a look. I'll get down to the paper review now. Hey, the Times, Labour say no to Labour say no to Tory anti-SNP voting boy. So they did. the National Disaster Duo set to reunite Labour and Tories. They're putting the band back together. The Labour reject Tory offer of tactical voting. To block the SNP. The Looney Rag, the Mail, patients now wait 7 years for routine operation. The Herald, health board spend 26 million on agency staff to plug the rota gaps. Of course they do. People have seen an opportunity to make money. The Looney Rag, the Express has not interested in older voters, Mr. User. We're back to scaring the pensioners, I say, because he's lumped all these things into the equalities basket, which is probably where they belong. The Scotsman has Faith Group condemns plan to ban conversion therapy. Conversion therapy is an abomination. It should be bloody well banned. The Tory graph has.
No, do you know where it came from? You know what? I think it came from the South in America, right? When you had all these preachers going, I claim you in the name of the Lord, and doing the conversion therapy on them. Look, God doesn't want you to be a gay and all the rest of it. It's madness that these people should think that gay is just a choice. It isn't. I can assure you. I've got a gay stepson and I've got a gay daughter, and the other daughter coming up looks like she's going to be gay as well, right?
Nature.
Yeah.
It's nature, David.
Yeah.
Hi, DJ Marty. It was good to see you in Edinburgh weekend as well, my friend. We'll get to Edinburgh. I suppose I say a lot of nonsense going on. Edinburgh's march. It was Gary wants to leave it to say there was 500. It was a lot more than that, but Gary wants to say there was 500 at it. What I will say is, it was nice to see a lot of old friends again. Feel good campaigning away for years. Edith, I hope you're keeping well. And Melanie will be campaigning together for just as long as Dave and I have been campaigning together. It was nice to see so many people and meet so many of the viewers.
How many of the guys with the Union Jack were there? Do you remember?
None.
There was none.
No.
Well, that must mean the Union's dead then.
Well, Scotland, the Union's no funding the idiot anymore, so that's an end to that. He's busy singing songs on his own webpage being trolled by the silent Klansmen. So that'll keep him busy, That'll keep Alistair busy. Well, a wee bit of culture there for a change. A wee bit of culture. I see Jerry Godley, he wins the first Billy Connolly Comedy Award, Comedy Award Spirit of Glasgow.
And what did she say when she went off stage? She go, Frank, get the door. No.
She just appeared in the paper with a wee bubbly and a wee black, But it was nice because Janie's not keeping well, so it was nice to do a wee party. And it's nice
you've made me laugh plenty of times then, so I hope you're all right.
And it's nice to have, I think it's probably Glasgow City Council is sponsoring this and they do it in Billy's honour.
Yeah.
The big man's made a great cultural contribution to Glasgow.
Yeah.
So he has. I've not always found his politics funny, but never mind. Yeah. But I see he's changed his mind on the Union and all.
Which one's that? Who's that?
Billy Connolly.
Oh, Billy Connolly. I know he changed a good while back, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm just mentioning it because we're talking about the award that he's set up or has been set up and to honour him and to honour Glaswegians in his name. You know what I mean?
Billy Connolly. If you look at the change in him all the way through since the big one, right? Okay. He's trying to become more academic because his wife is an academic, of course he is, right? Pamela, she's a psychologist for goodness sake, and it's like a very, very good looking lass, but also brain.
But I think Billy actually wanted to experience more different cultures and things like that. I mean, he's taking up a bit art and things like that as well. I suppose as you get older and you get the demands of being on the road as a comedian become a bit much, and you've got a few quid in the bank, then you can afford to indulge yourself for a good 2 years. And Billy's enjoying his retirement.
Yeah.
You know,
and even enjoying being a yeser.
yeah. But, so no, I just thought it was nice that Janie was the first recipient of it.
Yeah.
Hey, she's had a tough time.
Of course she has. Yeah.
You know, she had a tough time, and then of course the way the unionist press went after her when Nicola Sturgeon got her to do that a COVID thing, you know, the advert thing that she did with the Scottish government. The way the press went after her and demonised her for past posts and things like that.
Well, the one thing, if any of you want to give Jane a wee bit of a pat in the back for the the commendation that she got and all the rest of it, right? Go look her up on the web. Believe it or not, she'll actually see that. She will see that. Okay, number of hits on our website and all the rest of it, right? So do so.
You see. And I don't know what she's calling a farewell tour, I don't know, but as we know, Janie's been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yes.
Yeah. But her tour's doing well. She seems to be enjoying life, you know. So there you go. And everybody's talking in the comments at this point in time about the big march that's supposed to be. We're assuming it's going to be a big march in Glasgow on May the 6th. You know. Yeah. And let's hope so. But the march at the weekend was good. Good to see so many people we've campaigned with for so many years, you know. Some notable faces missing, but some young people there as well. It was nice to see David and Dylan Keane in Edinburgh. Really nice to meet the pair of them. I've met a lot of people in Edinburgh.
Yeah, my apologies go from me for not attending at the weekend, but I was going through a bit of a time with my legs. I am waiting. I am in the list, so I'm one of the culprits that are in the waiting list for somebody to look at my plumbing downstairs in my legs. So, but the Glasgow one I'll definitely get to.
Oh, I'm not dead yet, too. That would be right for Janie, actually. That would be a bit right for Janie, not dead yet. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I just thought it was worth mentioning because, as I say, Janie's been a good campaigner as well in her own way.
Yeah. Okay, guys, is there anything else that you want us to particularly discuss? Are there any issues that you've seen online this morning that you would like to hear our opinion on or discuss?
What we carry on with Trump? Have you been following that?
Blooming heck. I try not to think about Trump. Seriously, I just try not to think about the guy. I just think, there are two, maybe three inappropriate leaders in this world. Putin's one, but definitely Trump and Boris are the other two. Yeah.
Definitely clown material each of them, and corrupt as hell.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So anyway, apparently he's in trouble with paying some porn actress.
Yeah.
Quiet about an affair. Sonny, something her name was something Daniels.
Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels, aye.
I don't know her at all.
So paying off a porn star to stay stum might be the undoing of Mr. Trump. You know, mental. So that'll be interesting to see what happens.
So it's another one of my theories is the people that it can be the dirty tricks mob that actually create all of this, right? And all you need is enough of a stink, and all of a sudden the general public will buy it. Now, I cannot stand Trump. I cannot stand anything about him. I even detest the idea that he was allowed to buy a part of Scotland to actually have his.
Actually, if he doesn't stomp up with taxes, coming straight back again.
Yeah.
But he's having problems. That brings us on to another thing. Apparently, we're too poor to feed the poor.
Yeah.
We're too poor to give the teachers down that road the rise they're looking for, because apparently they're going to take their strike action.
Mhm.
But apparently there's £8 million kicking about in the piggy bank to do a portrait of King Charles.
That's true, yes. Plus the cost of recycling as well. Yeah, because they'll need to do something with all the pictures when they go in the skips. Yeah, so yeah. I think the teachers, that was one that I saw just before coming on air, was the fact that not the EIS, but the English one, what was it? Forget the name of the thing. The vote for strike action was 191,000, and there was a massive cheer saying that was them. They're going on strike again. You know. Yeah, it's this one from George Patterson. Have you seen anything about the quantum financial system online? If so, what is your view on it? Are you talking about the digital currency, George? Can you just confirm that the quantum financial system doesn't seem to make sense to me? Does it you, David?
No, it's not ringing any bells. Doesn't mean I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the term before. It just hasn't pulled any files up in my memory banks.
Yeah, I put out a wee bit on, was it Instagram or wherever this morning? There was a chap at a march, and he was mentioning about the digital currency, and he said, if they decide that you can't leave your house more than 5 miles, then that means that once you get to that 5 miles, you won't even be able to go to a shop at 6 miles and buy a bottle of water. How's about that? That's how much control a digital currency could have over your life.
And apparently, Ali's had an accident. He came off his motorbike. The bike's all right, but he's lost his pinky. Funny that, I see at that marching Saturday, Ali. I said the bikers coming round. And I did a wee video of the bikers coming round, the Yes bikers. And just as a wee comedy thing, I says, here comes the Yes movement's favourite organ donors. Pick yourself a new kidney, heart, or lung, the new.
Yeah.
Took a back the bikers for that, but Ali,
I'm really sorry that you're pinky. Bloody hell.
Be more careful, hey. Yeah. Be more careful when they bloody 2 wheels. 2 wheels bad, 4 wheels good.
If somebody says you're a Yakuza, that's it. You've finger off. That's you're a Yakuza. Everybody will looking at you. Is he part of a triad? Maybe not.
So be careful on your motorbikes, folks. As I say, I was only joking when I was doing the video at the weekend and Saturdays the bikers come in. Here's the Yes movement's favourite organ donors. No, but on a serious note, bikers, make sure you carry a kidney, an organ donor card. Oh, you don't need to know it's an opt-out system. Make sure you don't opt out.
My pal Faye was the poster girl for that. She's a good-looking big redhead. She's taller than me, and she put out the thing about it now being an opt-out system. So if you don't want to give your kidneys or your liver or whatever, you're going to have to tell them beforehand.
Aye.
But we just keep it the way it is. Just let them take it. You don't need it.
All you bikers out there, remember, make sure you don't opt out. Okay. Hey, brilliant.
Imagine a guy waking up in where all the cadavers are in the hospital basement. One guy sat up, and the guy says to him in the white coat, he says, "Do you want the good news or the bad news?" He says, "Well, now give me the good news." He said, "Well, the good news is you've just woken up." He said, "Well, what's the bad news?" "Well, we've taken your kidney, your heart, your liver, and
Okay.
Oh dear.
But all done good fun, as I say. And the head of the bikers, Yes bikers, come on, call and give me pelters. He's giving it just as well. I wasn't there. I had a word with you, boy, and I was like, "Hey, guess what, Colin? Hey, I was wondering where you were, and you're the youngest. It's your hair I'm after."
Yep.
Okay, you go have a laugh. £7 for a dram of whiskey in Edinburgh. Oof!
Aye. Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah. It depends where you go. It's more than that.
£7 for a dram?
Now, it depends on the whiskey.
What the fuck are you doing? Buying shares in the pub?
It depends on the whiskey.
I dare say. But if that's just a Hoose standard malt, wow.
Yeah.
As I say, I didn't ask her how much the wine was. I say there's a couple of glasses of wine with our old friend Melanie.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Mel. I haven't seen her since before COVID, you know. And what's this? Two Davies. What stage is our bank at in Scotland? What bank? No, the National Investment Bank's doing well, thanks. It's turning a profit. It's actually turning a profit. They can be reinvested into the economy. Because we don't have any economic levers, we're going to be a wee bit more creative. You know. But own banking regulation when it comes to creating a central bank, not going to be a big problem. All we have to do is copy and paste the best international banking regulations out there, tweak them to suit our legal system. Hey presto. We're not reinventing the wheel with the independence things, folks. As Nicola has quite rightly said, was it the 100 new countries have emerged? Well, Scotland's not a new country. 100 new countries have emerged in the last 60 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're not reinventing the wheel. It's this stuff isn't hard today. Believe me. A great example was the Velvet Divorce. Slovakia and the Czech Republic. Done, dusted, new currencies up and running in jig time. And if we go 30 years later on, they used to be each other's biggest trading partners. Now, the EU is both their biggest trading partner. So, we're not reinventing the wheel here, folks. When people say, how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that, I say, how does anybody else do it? We'll copy and paste. You know, these things aren't hard to do. We're not reinventing the wheel here, folks. We really aren't. And that's one of the things we have to put across on the doorstep out there, that we're not reinventing the wheel. People have some mad reason people think splitting up a union is difficult. Well, I'm afraid I don't think so.
No.
I mean, even when it comes to even the European Union, the UK made it much harder than it had to be.
Our culture's much more different. We have key differences between Scotland and England, right? However, the day we become an independent country, we will look very, very much like England. It's many years down the line before you'll start to see the changes, the differences taking place, and the two countries diverging from each other. It is in our nature to become very, very much like a European nation.
What's in our nature, David, is to let these buggers keep browbeating us our stupidness.
Yeah.
You know, what currency are you going to use? Well, what currency? We just don't have a central bank, you dummies.
Yeah.
You know, how are you going to control your borders? How does anybody else control their borders?
Well, in actual fact, again, there's another thing. Borders. We had the unionists going, how are you going to have any kind of border that works when you lot are going to become part of the EU and England is not? Well, you've had that answered by Rishi Sunak, haven't you?
The King's answered it with his Windsor Protocol. There you go, it's sorted. The King sorted it for you.
There you go. Right, so...
Hey, so there, international trade. Well, international treaties will be dealt with the EU.
Yeah. The EU is very, very good at putting together international trade deals. Well, let them continue. I'm not an expert on it. Neither are anybody to do with the Tory party.
Well, so, folks, is remind people on the doorstep that we're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
This isn't new. It's been done 100 times in the last 60 years. Independence is normal. Dependence is not.
The thing that we are going to have to be, that's you and David and me and all of us are going to have to be very, very careful of, is that Holyrood does not turn into a mini Westminster. We cannot allow that to happen. And no doubt, some numpty is going to say, why don't we have a House of Lords? That person should be taken to the Holyrood and run round Holyrood at least 3 times by being happy slapped by the entire population of Scotland, right? So we've got to make sure that it does not turn into a microcosm of Westminster.
And when would they get into a campaign and the Unionists are starting to say, given how you on it? The answer's always the same way everybody else does. We're a highly intelligent population, we will copy and paste.
Yeah.
There is nothing out there that's not already been done in these other nations that have just come out and into existence in the last 100 years or 60 years. We'll just copy and paste. We're a highly intelligent people.
In actual fact, it would be fair enough for somebody to say, well, what's England going to do? England's going to turn into North Korea, I think.
We're campaigning, folks, and this is what we mean when we're talking about the how you gonies.
Yeah.
The famous how you gonies. How you gony? Same way everybody else does.
Yeah.
That's the answer. It's always the answer.
Look at best practice and then say, right, how can we turn that to fit our situation?
To fit our legal system, to fit our customs, to fit our standards, to fit our traditions. That's the only questions that will go internally. Is, you know, will this fit? Will this suit our particular custom standards, legal system, that sort of thing, and we adjust them all to make these things fit.
Even down to councils. You know, my own personal little flag that I'll be waving after independence says, right, let's get rid of the councillors out of the councils, because councils are.
David, we're not going to put you on the tin pot dictator platform. You keep that for a wee Scotch dog. Right, folks, the last thing I want to mention before we wind up, because we're coming to the end, is Indie 2 Cafes, a charity night at the New House Hotel in North Lanarkshire, is on the 22nd of April, and I think it's 7 o'clock, 7:30 start. There's a restaurant on site, no buffet this time. Tickets are a tenner, money goes to food banks, entertainment by Pete Scally. You get 5 raffle tickets thrown in, you can buy more, the prizes are always brilliant.
Yeah, in actual fact, I've got to say, it's the only place I've been to in my life where everybody in the hall won at least 2 or 3 blooming prizes.
Anyways, the New House Hotel this time, it's known the Club 100 or the General Motors Club. I think there's about 10 or 12 tickets left if you contact the Indie 2 Cafe. So if you're in the Central Belt and you can make it there, come along. It would be brilliant to see you all. As I say, Pete does a great turn, entertains us all really well. So that's about it.
Yep. Well, if you like what we did, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to us. It does help us do more things on the channel, and that just leaves me to say bye-bye, Davey.
Bye, Davey. Bye, folks.
Bye, guys.
Oh, no, hold on a minute. If you're going to share this in Facebook, give us a couple of minutes to get off and change it public, because you know, Meta has been restricting me. Okay. Bye, folks.